Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about Luka Doncic and his ability to full court pass. We're going to talk about some of the nuances that go into this, and we're going to break it into 5 categories, talking about turnovers, transition, closing out, not getting back, and using size to your advantage. Let's go. So the first one we're going to talk about is turnovers, and this one's going to be the easiest to see simply because there's a lot of chaos going on, and the idea is Luka is capitalizing on that chaos. So we can see there was a turnover there. OG Anunoby's on the ground, lost his shoe. There was chaos going here, so the Lakers are leaking out. And you have the advantage simply because Jalen Brunson was the only one in a remotely positioned anywhere near the defense. And so you have 2 Lakers that have a wide open transition to the basket. And then stemming similar to that is area number 2, which is going to be transition. And this is similar because there's still a lot of chaos going on because there's no set. It never got to the half court where everyone has established what their roles are. And LeBron's going to be over here essentially. I'm assuming he was on the ground or something and came back. He just didn't come back fully because he knew he wasn't going to be able to play defense. So why not give yourself the opportunity to have the 1-on-0 opportunity? It's quite often that coaches will teach players to sprint back on defense, but honestly, if the team you're going against shoots a lot in transition, there's not that much advantage to be a defender that's sprinting in right now because the play is likely already over. So I do think judging it based on the situation is important, but if you can stay ahead of their last offensive player, in certain situations, I think that could make some sense still. And I know there's a pretty big asterisk around cherry picking is what I'd call it in pickup basketball. But I honestly think there's some merit to calculated leaking out, calculated staying in the defensive backcourt because it gives you such an opportunity to have a major advantage on the offense. And 5-on-4 on defense is that's an advantage for the offense, but 1-on-0 is a huge advantage for the offense. I think I heard about it first in the Better Basketball podcast or something like that. But it's the idea of every time you close out, just simply if you're above the break, that you're going to leak out and essentially not go back for the rebound. Because very often defenses aren't taught to have everyone crash. And so if they're not going for the rebound, there's no reason for you to lay in this area. And instead, you might as well try and leak out to get an advantage all the way on the opposite side. Luka sees LeBron having leaked out, and they get an easy basket because of it. And the thing is, if you do this intelligently, you can get a lot of open shots because of it. And so here we can see LeBron's going to be closing out, so he's just going to immediately kind of leak out. And so we're watching this play right here. There's so often that, what, is he crashing for the rebound? No, he's just standing there. And so if you can capitalize on that idea, it gives you, on offense, a lot of very easy baskets, and those easy baskets add up quickly. Not to mention, it puts a lot of psychological pressure on the offense, because if they know that you're going to fly by behind them, then they're thinking about that as they go up for the shot. They have to be like, oh, I got to get back because LeBron's going to get a dunk on the other end. So it depends very much on the style of players you're coaching, what your team looks like, who your passer is in particular, and then who the person leaking out is. But here's category number 4, and I'm going to call this not getting back. So if we look, LeBron closed out. He didn't even close out to the person that's furthest back, so this is no excuse. And so Michael Porter Jr. has this responsibility. He's got to get back, but he's too slow, and LeBron's already moving faster than he is, and Luka with a great pass to the outside hand. From an offensive team perspective, this is 100% absolutely not acceptable. This is the kind of thing where I would bench players immediately. This was after a made basket where you had Dalton Connect flat out beat all 5 Brooklyn Nets players down the floor. That's absolutely inexcusable. That cannot happen. But from Luka and the Lakers' perspective, if they're not going to get back on defense, then why not capitalize, So LeBron, we saw left early, and Josh Giddey misses this shot, and Luka's immediately looking ahead. And so then the question is, there's 2 defenders right here. Well, what are they doing? It's I call this essentially no man's land where you're not actually accomplishing anything with your body. And so okay, if you're going to crash the glass, crash the glass. If you're going to get back, then get back. What does staying around half court accomplish when there's a person behind you? Doesn't make any sense and simply allows for opportunities for the offense. So again, this would be something that would be absolutely inexcusable from a defensive perspective. And then not quite full court, but same concept. It's what are we doing on defense here? There's a Laker player just going to the basket. Anthony Edwards notices him, but is not in a position where he can get back. That's on the team. You got to communicate that somebody's got to take him. And the final category, and I think this one is the most impressive, and this is going to be using the size And this is where the offense does everything right. So Mike Conley, a very cerebral player, very good defender, is going to go back with LeBron. But LeBron's has a huge size advantage. And so if the Lakers are able to acknowledge that, and Luka has to put this pass in a very good spot, LeBron can use his size to essentially post up early. And that's pretty high level from both Luka and LeBron. And I don't think Mike Conley does anything wrong in this situation. It's just simply Luka is quick enough with the read to get it out there, and LeBron is able to maintain the right position early to create the opportunity. And this is the issue with not having a huge amount of size on defense. And this is the Bulls post player, and he was down here trying to get a rebound, or he made the shot, I don't know, whatever. But he's going to be slow to getting back. And Jackson Hayes for the Lakers flew down there to try and create this advantage. And so you have Kevin Huerter, who's in an okay position, but is he going to be able to contend with the post player? I mean, no. And so because of that, you give the opportunity for the advantage on offense. And so very similar to situation what we saw earlier, LeBron essentially left early. And so Mike Conley is the one that got stuck with him because they're in transition. And so Mike Conley's doing the right thing. He's being physical with LeBron, but Luka sees the opportunity. And so whose fault is this? This is Rudy's fault. So it doesn't just happen early in transition where players don't get back, but Rudy doesn't acknowledge, doesn't realize the mismatch. And so LeBron's able to get it with Mike Conley on him before Rudy can get back. And again, that's not the opportunity that you want if you're the Timberwolves. So Luka's ability to push the ball in transition, to get his eyes up the floor and see the advantages and realize them immediately allows for a lot of open opportunities for the Lakers. And these open opportunities add up very quickly, whether they're taking advantage of it over turnovers, transition, closing out, defense liabilities for not getting back, or simply a size advantage from LeBron posting up a guard, or Jackson Hayes doing the same thing. It gives the Lakers a lot of potential opportunities. And with Luka's skills and eyes and ability to pass, he capitalizes on those opportunities with every available moment. If you enjoyed, feel free to like and subscribe. But most importantly, have a blessed rest of your day.